Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 23, Text 35. Please repeat after me. Tatra Eka Vidhrita Bhartra Bhagavantam Yatashrutam Hrida Upaguhya Vijahau Deham Karma Anubandhanam Tatraika Vidhrita Bhartra Tatraika Vidhrita Bhartra Bhagavantam Yatha Shrutam Bhagavantam Yatha Shrutam Hridopaguhya Vijahau Hridopaguhya Vijahau Deham Karmanubandhanam Deham Karmanubandhanam Tatraika Vidhrita Bhartra Bhagavantam Yatha Shrutam Hridopaguhya Vijahau Deham Karmanubandhanam Tatraika Vidhrita Bharta Bhagavantam Yatha Shrutam Hridopaguhya Vijahau Deham Karmanubandhanam Tatraika Vidhrita Bhartra Bhagavantam Yatha Shrutam Hridopaguhya Vijahau Deham Karmanubandhanam. Mataji. Tatraika Vidhrita Bhartra Bhagavantam Yatha Shrutam Hridopaguhya Vijahau Deham Karmanubandhanam. Tatra, there, Eka, one of them, Vidhrita, held back by force, Bhartra, by her husband, Bhagavantam, the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, Yatha Shrutam, as she heard about him from the others, Hrida, within her heart, Upaguhya, embracing, Vijahau, she gave up, Deham, her material body, Karma Anubandhanam, which is simply the basis of bondage to material activity. Translation and purport by the disciples of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. One of the ladies had been forcibly kept back by her husband. When she heard the others describe the Supreme Lord Krishna, she embraced him within her heart and gave up her material body. the basis of bondage to material activity. Purport: the lady described here was especially devoted to Lord Krishna. Upon giving up her material body, she immediately attained a spiritual body and left the sacrificial arena to join the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Nirvishesha Shunyadi Pasadi Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Tatreka Vidhrita Bhartra Bhagavantam Jata Shrutam Hridopaguhya Vijaho Deham Karmanu Bandhanam. One of the ladies had been forcibly kept back by her husband. When she heard the others describe the Supreme Lord Krishna, she embraced him within her heart and gave up her material body, the basis of bondage to material activity. Hare Krishna. So here we are seeing the pastime of the wives of the Brahmanas. They are given mercy of Lord Krishna. So we can see how after the pastime of Krishna stealing the garments of the gopis, we can see how Krishna comes with his cowherd friends here near the place of these Brahmanas, and Krishna sends cowherd boys say that they are hungry, and Krishna sends them to the Brahmanas who are performing sacrifice for attaining the heavenly planets and heavenly happiness. And how the Brahmanas they rejected the boys and they ignored them, and how again Krishna sent them to the wives of the Brahmanas, who immediately brought other foodstuffs and offered Krishna, although their husbands and sons and other relatives tried to stop them because they were eager to see Krishna. They rejected all of them and they went to Krishna. And then Krishna sends them back to their husbands, and he accepted all the offerings. So we can see here that one lady was forcibly kept back by her husband. So when the other Brahmana wives, they came back, they described about Lord Krishna, and then hearing them, she embraced him within her heart. So we can see that we can see the Lord by hearing also. So by hearing we can see the Lord. So this is also explained in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th chapter, verse 11. It is said there that Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hritsaroja ase shrutekshita patho nanonata pumsam yadyad dhiyata urugaya vibhavayanti tad vabhu pranayase tadanugrahaya. So Brahma, he is praying for creative energy, and there he says, "O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the years by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you." So we can see here how Brahma explained that the devotees, they see Krishna by hearing about him and by hearing his words like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So only by this chanting and hearing and chanting we can see about Krishna. So that's why when there is Srimad Bhagavatam class and when they open the altar, we see that we don't offer obeisances to the Lord. So this hearing is very important in our Krishna consciousness, and that's why we can see in the 9 processes of devotional service, this hearing, Shravana, is first. And by hearing, we can attain the love of God. As we can see in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Nashta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavat yutta mashloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. That our love of God, the love of God, it becomes more strong. So this hearing and chanting is a process of watering the Bhakti Lata Bij. It is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita 19.152. It is said there that Mali Hana Kare Se Bija Aropan Shravana Kirtan Jale Karaye Sechan. When a person receives the seed of devotional service, he should take care of it by becoming a gardener and sowing the seed in his heart. If he waters the seed gradually by the process of Shravana and Kirtana, hearing and chanting, the seed will begin to sprout. So we can attain the love of God, and we have to water that Bhakti Lata Bij by hearing and chanting. So we have to hear attentively, and this urge of hearing, to hear, the eagerness, we can get only by serving the devotees. That also is explained. Shushrushro Shraddhanasya Vasudeva Kathar Anmahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Shravana Kirtana. So that by hearing, by serving the devotees, we can get the urge to hear. And then by hearing, Krishna himself personally, he cleanses the heart from the material desires. Shrinvatam Sakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridyantasto Hyabhadrani Vidinoti Suhritsatam. So that Krishna himself, he removes all material desires. So this hearing is very important. And then we should not hear from the non-devotees also. As we can see in the Padma Purana, it is stated that Avaishnava Mukodgirnam Avaishnava Mukodgirnam Potam Harikatamritam Shravanam Naiva Kartavyam Sarpochishta Yatapayah. One should not hear anything about Krishna from a non-devotee. Milk touched by the lips of a serpent has a poisonous effect. Similarly, talks about Krishna given by a non-Vaishnava are also poisonous. So we should hear from pure devotees about Krishna. In association of pure devotees, when we hear, it has great effect. And also that if we don't hear about Krishna, there are many things to be heard. Shrotavyadini Rajendra Nranam Santi Sahasrashaha, that there are thousands and thousands things to hear for the materialistic person. So, but if we don't hear about Krishna, then it causes bondage in this material world. So because it is in material bodily platform. So we can see here that she gave up her material body, the basis of bondage to material activity. So this material body, it is the basis of bondage. So anything which is not done in the service of Krishna, it causes bondage. So hearing or any other thing, as we can see that yajñartat karmano netra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. So those yajna which is done, which is not done in the for the pleasure of Krishna, for Krishna, then it causes bondage. But same thing when it is done for the service of Krishna, then it gives liberation. So same thing, that food which is offered to Krishna, it is prasadam, it gives us liberation. But the same thing, if it is not offered, then it is just a sin. As we can see, it is said in Bhagavad Gita. So everything should be utilized in the service of Krishna. But when it is not utilized, it causes bondage. So this again we can see here that by hearing we can attain Krishna. So we have to hear from those who have Krishna. So we can see Prabhupada, he has Krishna. So by hearing his lectures, by reading his books, we can attain, we can also embrace Krishna. Just like here how this lady, although she couldn't see Krishna herself, by hearing those who saw Krishna, she could actually see him through in the heart and embrace him. So we can see that there is no obstacles in devotional service. There can be no obstacles for those who want to perform devotional service. There is no obstacles. Like we can see that devotee in Nectar Devotion, that story is there, that of a devotee who was not so rich. He was very poor. and he wanted to serve Krishna. So he meditated in his heart about Krishna, that he did gorgeous offerings and did our arati, and once he wanted to offer sweet rice. So he offered it in his mind, and then he wanted to just see the if it is hot for the Lord. So he touched it and it burnt his hands. So Krishna accepts the offering which is done in the mind. He sees the mood of the devotee, how much he loves me. So he sees that. So that's why he's called Bhavagrahi Janardhan. So he accepts the offering which is done in the heart also. So we have to serve Krishna, and that also we can do by hearing and chanting. So another thing we can see here in this lady, she thought about Krishna, and when she left her body, so we can see that she immediately went to the spiritual. I mean, she went in the company of Krishna. So we also, when by thinking of Krishna in the end of our life, we can attain Krishna, as he says, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 8th chapter, Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaf prayati samadbhavam yaf prayati tyajantiham sayat yaf prayati samadbhavam yati nastitra sanshaya. So that when at the time of death, if you think about Krishna, then without a doubt we will reach him. So this, so how we can think about Krishna in the end of our life is thinking of him 24 hours a day, always in our life, because any moment we can give up this body. So we can see the materialistic people, they don't want to speak about this giving up body. They say that this is this is pessimistic. So, but without this, we can't prepare for our next life. We don't know what body we will get in our next life. In this life, whatever we do, that by those actions, by the Daiva Netra, he the Daiva, he sees what actions we do in this life, and based on that we get the next body. So if we don't think about Krishna in this life, if we don't practice devotional service, then in the next body we may be, we will get animal species of life or anything, but we will be in this cycle of birth and death. So it is very important to think about Krishna. As Kulashekara Alvar says in his prayers, Krishna in Mukundamaras, Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankaja Pancharatram Adyaivave Vishatu Manasa Rajahamsa Prana Prayana Samaye Kapavada Pitte Kanta Varodana Vidos Maranam Kutuste. That in at the time of death, we don't know what our condition will be. Like our throats will be dried up. When in the old age is great suffering, so we can't think about Krishna. So Kulashekara, King Kulashekara, he says that let me think about let me think about Krishna now itself, so that at the time of death, it will be very difficult. So we have to think about Krishna every moment in our life. Then only it will be possible to think about Krishna at the time of death. And that is also possible by the hearing process. By chanting, we can think about Krishna. And also we can see that this is very important to be in the association of devotees. Here this lady, she was in association of the other women who could see Krishna. So by being in the association of devotees, by the sadhu sangha, she could hear about Krishna and embrace him in the heart. So we also, by being in the always being in the association of Krishna, we can always be thinking about him and chanting his glories, because the devotees always will be discussing about Krishna. So by hearing those discussions, we can also be purified. We can see how Narada Muni, when the Bhagavatas had come there, he, by hearing the discussions of those Bhagavatas, he was elevated, and by their mercy he also attained perfection. So we also have to hear and chant, and we can attain the perfection just like this lady. So we can see here this gopis and the other wives of the Brahmanas, they attained perfection by the mercy of Krishna. So they were Kripa Siddhas. So that's another point. So it's very important to hear and chant about Krishna, and we are always in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Any questions and comments? So that is the point, that any moment we can give up this body. So by engaging in other things, if we don't think about Krishna in the time of death, then we can't attain the result, or we can't attain the spiritual world or our highest goal. So if we don't perform our Krishna consciousness, we go to cinema and other things. So then we will be in the materials. When we are in material conception and we die, then we will attain that result. Like if we are thinking about how we can see how Bharat Maharaj, he was always thinking about the deer. So at last, in the end, he also became, he had to accept the body of a deer. So similarly, if we don't think about Krishna, then we will not attain Krishna, we will attain some other result. So we will lose the opportunity to attain Krishna. Any other comments? Question? That Krishna, he sees that in the entire life he has thought about me, he has engaged in service. So by his mercy, causeless mercy, he accepts that. He accepts the devotee. Any other questions? Comments? श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.